Simon Knott, BKK Architects. I'm a principal of BKK Architects. This is a project.
Sorry, Simon. So you're not in full screen mode at the moment. We can just see you. We can see the controls as well around.
Yeah, I just wanted to keep it that way, just so I can sort of look around it a bit, if that's okay.
Terrific. Thank you.
Sorry, this is a project we undertook with MA Architects and GLAS Landscape. It's the Jewell Station Precinct, and I'll take you through that. Just like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, is where I am now, but also where the project is located, and we acknowledge their elders past, present and future. The site is just into the heart of Brunswick. It's about 5 k's from the CBD, 5 stops on the train line. And you can see here, it's really, Brunswick Road's just down to the south. Green here is Sydney Road. Jewell Station is the building here. The site is this green patch. Upfield bike corridor and train line in blue, which is really important north-south connection. Obviously, Sydney Road is as well in that retail heart. Berkeley Square here, the big shopping centre, and the RMIT Brunswick campus up here to the northwest. And really what we're trying to do is accentuate both those, the transport corridors, obviously enormously important, but also these cross-corridor connections along Union Street, Berkeley Street, and this Wilson Avenue that really brings you into the heart of that Berkeley Street precinct. There was a lot of community consultation done. Village Well did a big piece of work that formed really the brief for this. This is some of our own mappings of the site. We then went out to the community again with the design Kapaya post-design. It was a design competition. I don't know, Simon might have been involved in this at JCB actually. They were they did an original feasibility on the site, and I think were part of one of the consortia. Neometro were our developers on the site. They're very engaged developers and very much led the process. It's a bit of disused land to the east of the railway tracks, so we really degraded warehouse buildings, and the station was quite run down. A lot of the community consultation centred around the safety issues around the site, both real and perceived. Very high crime rates around this station, both at night time and during the day. And our focus was really to deliver these mixed-use buildings at either end, that bookend the site, and very narrow street frontages to Union Street and Berkeley Street, but fully activate this only the transport corridor, but also this vitally important bike path, the upfield bike corridor. We did surveys that had up to 1,000 bikes an hour at peak hour running through here. So it's incredibly busy. Sometimes it's quite unsafe. And there's a lot of work done about this conflict of a lot of pedestrians coming into the station here, into this 1880s station building, which was refurbished, and how that sort of, we avoid those conflicts. We've done a lot to sort of try to invigorate that public square. The whole idea for us is to create this village within that transport corridor, or that transport precinct. There's a number of significant river red gum trees on the site that we also tried to retain, or we did retain. This diagram is important to us because it really talks about a gradient between public and private space, and they coexist and they inform each other. It's a symbiotic relationship. We talk about this a lot on our projects, from this fully public space and how that can be activated by the sort of semi-private space of verandas and stoops or balconies, and small interventions of steps and enclosures and balcony screens can just help demarcate those, or a seating element can help demarcate those spaces, and we move further into the fully private space of the bedroom. These are the competition. This is the way we set up the design. This is the way we designed the precincts. It's designed from the outside in. So the public realm really informs the architecture. And we looked at, here's the train line. This is a section through the site looking north. This is MA's building to the south that they did. This is our building to north. We master planned the site together. And we did things like this sort of slow space adjacent to the building, which is demarcated as a marking on the ground. It's a pedestrian space. It's a Yarngell type idea. And you can see here the foyer space of the building really bleeds into that public realm and helps to activate it, but also provide that passive surveillance and security from the balconies. So they're always working together to then to the sort of semi-private space of the apartments and the sort of private but communal space of the rooftop terrace. They're all kind of working together, and then the blank space of the bedrooms behind. And you can see how that sort of moves through the site from artists' work, from a communal workshop, artist studios, move into the kind of, this is a commercial tenancy that activates the public realm around the station forecourt, the grand stairs that then provide an entrance into the station proper, a playable sculpture, an artwork by, this is not the actual artwork that was done, it was the one that was by Fleur Summers, with a really beautiful community piece. A little pocket park, and then we move into our building at the north, which has this commercial space that helps to activate that public realm. And this is the competition schemes. You can see we really focused on that public realm, and then the architecture is almost secondary to that. This is the 1880s station building, which was fully restored, and some really unsightly additions removed from it. This is a retail tenancy, food and beverage offering that activates that entranceway into the space. You can see, I won't spend a lot of time on this, we don't really have the time, but we didn't want to just put cafes in the bottom. This is a satellite piece from RMIT University. It'll be a postgrad space, a loggia space. You can see the banding as we move into the building itself, protected space of this loggia, the slow space of pedestrian against the building, and then the bike corridor through here. So it is similar but demarcated, and rumble strips that help slow people down as they arrive at the station entrance, which is over to the left. A barber shop here on the corner, very much buildings in the round. We minimise services enclosures to maximise that activation and street frontage. Bike spaces are really key to this too. So they're given primacy in the middle of the building, and car parks are really, the car park entries are very secondary. The MA one is off this tiny little laneway at the back. So you can really get full activation of artist studios, food and bev, the entrance foyer, and then these workshops and other parts of the facility. So I won't go through the apartments because we don't have time, but sustainability was a big issue across the site, a big concern for us. Really one of the big moves we did was to design this concrete robust frame that could be adapted over time. So adaptability of the buildings is important. You can see here actually that's the only service enclosure that gives frontage to our building, and there's an artwork that was commissioned by Felix Gailey at the top of that. You can see here how this is an infill frame that could be adapted over time. You can see here the bike corridor, the sort of pedestrian space, these other spaces that just slightly separated by seating and planter beds.
1 minute remaining.
Thank you. The conflict zone, major one, we demarcated that with a different square treatment to it. So the forecourt to the station building was done with Heritage Victoria, so you could really see that space to slow down. And these big seating elements, we did a lot of work to retain these big river red gums. That's the entrance into the south building. And you can see here the brick here of their materiality starting to work with the Heritage Station building. And you can see this protected space of the loggia, the space of the bike path, and how we sort of move between, how those read as a suite of buildings that sort of help form that public space and activate and work in harmony with the existing. That's it. Thank you. And this image here really shows quite clearly. That'll be the RMIT hub, the loggia space, the bike corridor, the transport corridor, and the artwork above.